We all know what the Safari Zone is. If you don't, it's where you throw rocks and mud at Pokemon in hopes of catching them, as if animal abuse in Pokemon wasn't debated enough. The Safari Zone gives you access to dozens of imported Pokemon that you don't see in the normal route to your playthrough. However, you actually can catch some of them outside the Safari Zone. In Pokemon Red and Blue, if you exit the Safari Zone and then immediately fly to Cinnabar Island, you'll be able to encounter Safari Zone Pokemon by using Surf on the river. This way you don't have to deal with the awful, horrendous, terrible Safari Zone interface and just battle the Pokemon using normal Pokeballs. There is a way to make Pokemon have a 0% escape rate in Pokemon Emerald. This is known as the Pokeblock glitch, and this glitch requires the use of 3 different color Pokeblocks, where if you put one color in the feeder and find a Pokemon near that feeder, and then following somewhat of a flowchart, you can make sure you always catch the Pokemon you're looking for. If the Pokemon's catch rate is over 200, lob a Safari Ball at it. If not, throw a block of a different color than the one that's in the feeder. If the Pokemon is curious, Pokeball. If he ignores the Pokeblock, throw another one. They're enthralled, Pokeball. It's a lot of Pokeballs. If you didn't catch all of that, I'm sure there's a flowchart on the internet or something. In short, just throw Pokeballs and pray. This way you can for sure catch all the rare Pokemon, like your Miltanks, Dugtrio, Punching Bags, and shit. There's plenty of items in the Safari Zone for a player to find, but there's a rare candy in Area 6 of Pokemon Emerald that poses a bit of a challenge when trying to obtain. This rare candy cannot be picked up if the player tries to pick it up while facing it from the north or the west, which makes you think about other map glitches in Pokemon. In the Hoenn Safari Zone areas 1, 2, and 4 from Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire can be found in the internal data of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, but the maps are glitched so you can't roam around. Likewise, in the Gen 2 games, the Johto region didn't have a Safari Zone. However, an unused and incomplete map of the Kanto Safari Zone still exists in the code of the Gen 2 games. Unfortunately, there's no Pokemon of the tall grass, but by fishing in certain areas, you can still catch some of them. The Johto Safari Zone has one of the largest numbers of Pokemon species that can be acquired in the Safari Zone. It is one of the largest quantities and includes several species that were never before available in the wild, like Shelgon, Metang, Breloom, Vigoroth, and Riolu. The Johto Safari Zone leans back on many restrictions, like being the first one to allow players to customize the zone placement and removing the step limit. If someone decides to actually hack a Pokemon game and wall hacks through the Safari Zone gate without going through reception, the Safari Zone will be 6 plain squares and the only Pokemon that will show up is a level 20 Rattata and will proceed as a normal battle without the Safari Zone items. Don't know who would go through all the trouble for a level 20 Rattata. If you decide to not use wall hacks and pay attention to the front of the Safari Zone, you'll notice 2 construction workers outside the Safari Zone, implying that they are the ones that move the Safari Zone areas due to the comments they make about aches and pains from moving said areas. Speaking of which, in the swamp area, there's a graphical error of 4 tiles at the top of the grassy patch that appear to be empty at first, but when stepped on by you or your partner Pokemon, they appear out of nowhere. In Pokemon Yellow, if you try and enter the Safari Zone with less than $500, they'll let you in, but only with a certain number of Safari Balls in correlation with the amount of money you have. If you're broke and have no money, they'll let you in after multiple attempts, as if you were a beggar and let you in out of pity. While in the Safari Zone, there's a scientist that states you can keep any item you find on the ground here, but you'll run out of time if you try for all of them at once. However, if you have Surf, you can actually get all of them in one go. Speaking of liars, there's a couple of them in the games. In the Kanto version, an NPC in Area 4 says that bait makes Pokemon easier to catch when it actually makes them harder. Likewise, in the Great Marsh of Diamond and Pearl, another NPC states that both bait and mud make Pokemon more likely to run, but easier to catch. In Western Gen 1 games, you receive 30 Safari Balls, although there are only 25 available Pokemon to be caught because of the small box capacity. Japan, however, has a larger capacity, allowing 30 to be caught. Also in Pokemon Yellow, you'll notice that Tauros' encounter rate in the Safari Zone is 10%, as opposed to the other Gen 1 games, where its encounter rate is only 1 through 4%, depending on the area. Since the Yellow version is highly based on the anime, this can be taken as a reference to the anime episode 35, where Tauros is seen in large numbers around the Safari Zone, as opposed to its rarity in the previous games. Dratini, which also appears in episode 35, is available in the Yellow version, but not in the Red and Blue versions for the same reason of being based on the show. The episode revolved around finding the long-lost Dratini in the Safari Zone. Getting more into the show, the same episode about the Safari Zone was aired in Japan in 1997, but nowhere else outside of Asia. This is due to the use of a gun within the episode. Kirkon, the Safari Zone warden, has an itchy trigger finger, and points his gun at Ash and his friends multiple times. He pulls it as soon as they show up, when Ash reaches for a Safari Ball, and then Kirkon goes to pull it when he's getting questioned by Ash. Sounds like a great warden. Needless to say, he wants to kill Ash. Also, I want to point out that Ash catches 30 Tauros in this episode. Why? I know he sent them to Professor Oak to study, but 30? Really? What's he doing with them? And why is Professor Oak's legs half of his body in this photo? What is going on? Okay, I'm out.